Yeah, more or less that works out. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Arcadia Roundtable. I'd say this is a special edition, but actually it's going to play out like they normally do. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about various topics and games and things. I'm just going to sit here being ignorant, and Luke is going to fill me in on all of the things that are happening in the gaming industry, all of the things that are going on with the games that are out now. And it's going to be delightful. So please stick around, talk to us, speak in chat, ask us some questions, and let's get straight into it. Luke, before we get into the games and things like that, it's been a couple of weeks. How you been, sir?
Been very well, thank you. Yeah. Been.
No need to brag, fucking A. Just say you're all right, like everybody else does. It's all right. Yeah. Just pretend you're all right and hide the despair and pain.
Yeah.
No, he's good.
It's all beneath the veneer.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. How have you been?
Awesome. I've had such a lovely time. I can't remember any of it, but I'm sure for the last 2 weeks I've been. Oh, turn Luke up. Yeah, Luke, turn yourself up.
I'm turned up.
I can turn you up if not, but you are coming through pretty quiet for me. And being the only one here, I've got no one to confirm via Discord levels whether it is you being quiet or whether I've bought something.
Yeah, I'm at my normal amount, so I'm not.
Yeah, I also have not changed anything, but we'll give you a little boost. We'll give you a little boost while we're waiting.
Give me a boost up.
Yeah. It's happening at the moment, slowly. So, while I'm doing that, I'll tell you how my week's been. My 2 weeks, I've done lots of the developing that I'm doing. It's very slow progress and lots of fun. But I've got. I'm going to say an interface, but it's not an interface, right? It's but ugly, so it will never make it anywhere near the final game. But I've got some kind of interface for progression systems within my game, which is what I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. And that has been a lot of fun for me. Let's give you an extra 10 decibels and see how we go like that. Say something.
Nice.
Oh, you can have a bit more.
10 decibels makes sound. That'll be good.
Yeah, so there's always a risk that introduces some crackle and shite. So if it comes through and it doesn't sound very good, do let us know on the YouTube chat, and there's nothing that I'll do about it. But yeah, still got some voice issues, but that won't matter. We'll get through it. So Luke's doing great. I'm doing great. Everybody in chat, how are you all doing? Please do let us know that you're doing great. I don't want to hear any negativity, so just tell us that you're doing good, even if you're not. No, I hope you are well, obviously. And let's get into talking about some games. So I think a whole bunch of stuff has been going on for the last couple of weeks. Just this weekend alone, we've obviously had this little Pokemon showcasey thing that Luke's a massive fan of and insisted we put on the thumbnail. So we'll talk about that a bit. We've had Resident Evil Requiem's been released. We've had the Server Slam for Marathon. We've had a World of Warcraft expansion. We've had bits and pieces like that, and that's just this weekend. We've got even more to talk about than that. So I reckon there's going to be some overlap in what you've been playing and what we're going to be talking about, Luke. But hit me with whatever you want. What have you been playing?
Yeah, I've been playing quite a bit. So I guess this weekend, over the last few days, I've been playing a mixture of Marathon, the Server Slam that came out, and then also Requiem as well. So yeah, probably about maybe 4 hours of Marathon, I'd say, and then about 5.5 of Requiem, something like that.
That's a decent amount. So let's in that case, let's start with Marathon, because that's nice and easy to digest. So Marathon has had quite an interesting. Oh, cats are in it. Okay, it's had quite an interesting not reception because it's not out yet, but just general kind of community vibe around it, because it started like, oh, Bungie are making a new game, we love Bungie, it'll be good or whatever, and it very quickly turned negative and went from bad to worse when people didn't enjoy the initial alpha necessarily. Then they had all the stuff with the artist, the work that they stole and all that kind of thing. It seemed to go from bad to worse, and then Arc came along and took the extraction genre kind of by storm. And for a time, people thought, Arc has already killed Marathon before it's come out. Enough time has passed, though, that Marathon seems to have somewhat turned its reputation around and may actually benefit from the success of Arc in a strange way, as it has gained a lot of exposure from it. So you've been playing it this weekend, and you played it for, you say 4 hours or 5? I can't remember which game was which, but a fair amount of time, enough to suggest you've probably taken some joy from it, or are you just hating every moment?
No, I'm enjoying it. It's an interesting game because it's it obviously it's an extraction shooter, and in one sense it's very similar to Arc, but in other ways it's very different, or it feels different moment to moment. Not just because it's a first-person shooter, I suppose, compared to a third, but I think there's been a little bit of criticism about at the minute about PvP, for example, that there's not enough PvP sometimes on maps, and Marathon, So I think you've got 2 maps in the beta. One is the beginner map called Perimeter, and then there's Dire Marsh. And Perimeter, by its nature, is meant to be a bit friendlier in terms of being a map. So they filled it with less players as a result, so you can kind of get your bearings a bit. But I think that's led to a few complaints about some people not seeing other people very much. Whereas in Arc, it kind of always...
Like, is it filled with less players in every encounter that you go in there, or is that literally when you're starting out the game and they could just fill it with more people later if they wanted to?
Yeah, no, so I think they've already adjusted Perimeter, actually, based on the feedback. So apparently now there are more players, and they filled it with more like crews, basically. And then weirdly for me, I mean, my first game I had like 2 PvP encounters, so I didn't really get the sense of that. But I think it just depends, because it's so variable game to game, right? Like extraction shooters just are.
Yeah.
But no, sorry, I thought you were going to say something.
No, sorry. Cat issues again. Carry on talking to me.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But I mean, I've been enjoying it. Like, I think the moment to moment stuff, like in terms of like when you're actually in combat, gunplay, etc., it's typical, very fun game feel, very good Bungie shooting. The one thing I do really like about it compared to Arc, let's say, is that you have shells, which are just basically heroes effectively, and so they have their own abilities, and obviously you can kind of move around with those and adjust accordingly, and so you can lead into some really interesting play styles with particular shells. Whereas I suppose, just by comparison, in Arc, it's more about the gear that you're running rather than your character is just a vessel, right? It's all about your gear. And it doesn't quite feel like that in Marathon at the moment. It feels more like you could have vastly inferior gear, but you could kind of outwit someone using your shell's abilities, depending on which shell you've chosen. So I've been really enjoying it. It runs phenomenally. It looks, to me, amazing. Like, I think it's a super clean, interesting aesthetic. Audio is very good, as you'd expect. I don't know what kind of legs it'll have, but that's the kind of question that I have of every live service game. Like, you just don't know until they come out and you get a roadmap and stuff. So, but I've been enjoying it. I think it's good.
So what? So my only real point of reference for extraction shooters in general. Oh, Karak, thank you very much for the super chat. Very very much didn't need to, but much appreciated. And good to see you. So look, my point of reference is Arc. I played a bit of that, and it's a bad point of reference because I never really understood why people like Arc. It didn't really do it for me, but I didn't. It's got like a lot of emphasis on its loot system, and people that enjoy it are playing with high stakes, enjoying the loot that they've got, right? I never really understood the loot system, didn't know what was going on. What is kind of the meta game in Marathon? And you mentioned that you don't necessarily get much in the way of PvP. What are you doing when you're not fighting other players?
Yeah, so I mean, the moment to moment's very similar to Arc in terms of you going around trying to find loot, and extract that loot. And there are obviously AI enemies on the map as well, the UESC. So they're like a mixture of different kinds of robots, effectively, and they're quite difficult. They can be very, very overwhelming. I wouldn't say they're like as interesting an enemy to fight as the arcs are in Arc Raiders, when they're, because it's such a variation of like the type of machine, the type of arc that there is in that game, and it's very interesting to fight them. These aren't quite as interesting to fight, but they're still fun. And yeah, the game is still going around looting stuff. The thing that I actually do prefer about Marathon compared to Arc is that the one thing about Arc I really, really don't like is the crafting element. Like, is the picking up stuff to, take it back and then to craft with it. Marathon doesn't have any of that, as far as I can see. So, to the extent that if you pick things up on the map, what it does very helpfully is if you extract successfully, it will just auto sell anything that you can't actually tangibly use for something. So, it'll keep your weapons and armor replenishments and health replenishments and cores and attachments and all that stuff, but everything else it sells. Yeah. So I really like that, because I don't like the busy work of Arc's crafting system or knowing what I need for this and then trying to find that on a map. Like, I'm not really a big fan of that.
So what kind of good stuff have you found then? Like, what is the purpose of going on a run on Marathon? What are you hoping for?
It's much the same as Arc in terms of the ultimate purpose, which is weapons, like really good weapons, or cores, which you can slot into specific slots that will sort of modify your abilities or give you kind of not extra full abilities, but they will change the way your abilities work a little bit. Attachments for your weapons, credits, so you can go out and buy stuff outside of it. So yeah, again, it's not that dissimilar from Arc. I just think their focus and the way that they do things is just a little bit different. Like, they've got a bit more of a, I don't know, it feels a bit quicker Marathon, even the rounds, even though they're the same time limit, so they're 30 minutes each. It just, the general sense of speed of it, I think, feels a bit more accessible than Arc does, where you can have like really sort of drawn out matches and stuff. But yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good stuff.
Okay. So, and have you been running it solo, or you've been running it with people, or?
Purely solo at the moment, yeah, purely solo, which is cool. I mean, you can do things like, obviously you can get free loadouts, right? So you can go into games and you don't have to gamble anything.
Get inside my
they also have a specific solo shell called the Rook.
The Rook.
Yeah, so the Rook's quite cool because the Rook has its own abilities, and it only puts you into games that are already in progress between squads. So the Rook is like a scavenger archetype, basically. You're meant to go in and kind of pick up things that people have left. And it has this interesting ability where you can activate it, and you can it will blend you into the UESC, or from the AI's viewpoint, you are the same unless you start doing something weird. So if you just move normally, you can kind of move in amongst big crowds of AI enemies, and they will not notice that you're an enemy. So, it's a cool little extra shell that you can use if you want to just go in. It gives you, like, you don't have anything, but you have like a couple of health packs when you're a Rook, and you have like a pistol effectively. So you're not strong at all when you go in. So it really is about like trying to just move about and like pick up things and get out quickly and not try and engage in big combat or anything. So it's a very different type of playstyle, but I found that quite fun as well. I've done it a few times.
That, to be fair, that sounds more like it's made for me, being antisocial as I am. I could run in solo and scavenge things. Still get frustrated if ever there's, because it's got one of the player classes has invisibility, right?
Yes. Yeah, which is the one I've been playing out. That's the
you're a dick.
It's fun. It's a funnest
Sure
fun.
It is.
Although they don't have the thief in the beta, which is the one I really wanted to play as, because she has like a like the grappling hook from Infinite. She has one of those as an ability, but it doesn't need to attach to anything. So like kind of stops in midair and will just spin, and so you can use it any way you want. You don't have to physically attach to a building, so you can kind of leap across things just by using momentum. So
nice. Just like a kind of Activision era Spider-Man, where you can just shoot webs at the skyline. And
exactly, and just move around. So obviously, there's a fairly significant cooldown each time you use it, but it's a cool class, but unfortunately not available. Every other class is available for the beta.
Does it have much else in terms of like maneuverability for the other classes and things?
I haven't played with all of them, so I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of. I don't think so. I think she's the only one that has like a proper, like her whole kit is based around she's quick and very maneuverable around the map.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones are quite different. So the assassin is, it's about being a sneaky bastard basically, and he can also throw smoke discs out to disguise him, and if you run through those smoke discs, you can get invisibility as well. So it's all based around that. There's kind of one that's like a medic archetype as well. So that's cool. I think the thief as well. I think her other ability, she can shoot out a drone, which you can control, and it can actually go and shoot a hook at people and steal loot from them and then bring it back to you, which is quite fun. So there's kind of different. They're all like different archetypes of play style, basically, which I find is quite interesting. But the ones I've played as so far have been fun.
And most importantly, then, so Server Slam is running for this weekend. It's free for everyone to get on there. Why have you not invited me to your team?
Because you'll play it for 10 minutes and then you'll be like, it's not for me. And that's,
it'll be a good 10 minutes for you, though. It'll be a privilege.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
We had a nice time playing Halo.
We did, but that's fair. This is, well, maybe then, maybe. You get it downloaded.
I might use to play Resident Evil 6. I might get it downloaded. Yeah, good. Carrot, by the way, that super chat, he says he likes that Predator toy behind you. Looks awesome, which is...
Ah, yes. Yeah.
I'm sure you already know, but for the rest of us, it's a little out of focus. So I'll believe it. Let's move on then. So Marathon is what it is. Oh, are you going to buy it, by the way?
Yeah, I bought it. Yeah.
Already bought it.
I'll pick it up. Yeah, I'll pick it up. For sure. Because I'll I will at least sink, say, 20 to 30 hours in it, and I think I'll enjoy that. Like, I may sink a lot longer, I don't know, but I think I'll definitely pick that up. Oh, well, I have picked it up. I just need a key. So yeah.
When does the Server Slam end?
It's either tomorrow or Monday, one of the two.
Okay, so I've not got a lot of time to sample it before it comes out.
No, but you could play a bit. And it's only, I think it's only 18 gigs. So it's not
not too bad
thing to download.
Yeah, so they only stole small art.
Yeah. Only tiny bits of art. Yeah.
Yeah.
To make it fit into the file.
Yeah. So they're basically innocent in that, really, if it's only little.
Yeah, really. Victimless crime, really, isn't it?
Right, let's move on then. Let's talk about the next one, because you've been playing Resident Evil as well. Which a lot of people have. I haven't, as of this moment, but general feedback seems to be that it's brilliant. Are you on the same page? Are you having a good time with it? Are you too scared to play it? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I've played 5 hours. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. It's just excellent. It's just really, really, really good. I've been looking forward to it for so long, and so to kind of get it in hand has been really cool. And then just the kind of choices they've made with this one in terms of how they've wanted to like how they want the pacing to be in the game's really interesting. Mm-hmm. And at least for the 5 hours I've played, the pacing has been just probably some of the best pacing I've ever played. I don't know how the rest of the game will pace itself, but it does this really cool thing where it, it's interchanging between these two protagonists, and it kind of, it's very labyrinthian in the way that Resident Evils are, and then these characters will sort of meet up and something will happen, and then they'll, you'll switch to another character and do something else, and then you'll kind of loop back around with a different character and kind of interact, meet again. And like, it's just very clever the way that they've kind of plotted all of this out. I just find it very interesting. And then obviously the experience you have with each character is completely different, right? Which is obvious from what they've shown. But Grace is very Resident Evil newcomer, very scared, not very powerful, classic survival horror. You're really kind of treading water just to stay alive and get enough resource to keep going. And then Leon comes in, and they've basically gone to and you might like this, they've gone to a halfway house, I think, between RE4 and RE6 Leon. So he's not invincible, but he's extremely strong. So when you have these like you'll be Grace in a section and you will barely survive. And then there'll be a section where Leon treads much of like some of the same route that Grace has, and you'll just like obliterate everything. Like, it's just such an empowering bit, because the things that have been just very difficult for you in one capacity are now completely different. So and that's kind of what I mean about the pacing, right? They kind of like slow dread horror, survival horror, and then they go, right, have a big action,
have a bit of fun,
have a bit of fun, enjoy yourself. Right, we're back to horror. And it works really, really, really well. I think a lot of it is what they were trying to do for RE6, but they just failed miserably in actually giving you like a proper survival horror experience in that. So it was just it's a phase where it's just all action. It's all big action stuff. Whereas this is much more measured, and it's like, you get a little bit of action, and then you get some survival horror, and then you get a bit more action. I've just been loving it. Story's really, for Resident Evil, really good. Like, interesting, mysterious. Looks just amazing. It's probably the best looking game I've ever seen, actually. At least like path traced version is. I mean, every version seems to be very, very good, but the path tracing on this is just phenomenal. And just the upgrades they've done to RE engine is, just been terrific. And the audio's taken a big step up as well, like a really big step up over the last few games. It's very, very good. I just want to play more of it, really.
You can.
Are you going to play it? Are you gonna get it?
So, that's a good question. Like, at some point, I'm not going to get it this weekend or anything, though. I have this kind of life decision to make where I have to choose: do I work lots of hours and buy things that I like games and things, or do I focus on my game development thing and not get the things that I like? And at the moment, I'm making stuff instead of buying stuff. Resident Evil will be a little while till I get to it, but I do very much want to. I haven't done 7 and 8, but this is more a continuation of 2 and 4. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, at least in the 5 hours so far, there's basically no reference to 7 and 8. So you don't. There's nothing to suggest so far that you would need to play those games to get story context. You would be much better just playing basically 2 and 4. And 4 is mainly just for familiarity with Leon. And then maybe Outbreak, if you were so inclined, you could play that as well. But that's it. So it can really sit as a standalone game, I think, provided you just have the background of RE2, I would say.
Does it have terrible Resident Evil puzzles?
Well, it has Resident Evil puzzles, yeah. It has those. There's an interesting bit, actually, where I think one of the first... So everything I've done in this first 4 hours has been literally what they've shown in the trailers. So it's been all the sections they've shown. I've just got onto a bit which was not in the trailers that they released. But the first primary place you go to and your Grace, I think you go to our Resident Evil always does that stuff where it's basically here's an area. Here's an exit, here's where you have to go, but to get to that place, you need 3 things. And so you branch out across the area and they're all in different places, right? So So it's that typical puzzle format. But you go to the place, and I think Grace, like the protagonist, even goes like, "How do people get in and out of here?" Like it doesn't make, kind of poking fun at the whole RE, ridiculous jumbled puzzle, like not who would have this in real life sort of stuff. So it's just impossible. So it's kind of she pokes fun at that, and so it does have like the typical RE puzzles. But what I would say is that they don't, like, at least so far, in some prior games I felt like they really draw out like a particular puzzle. Like it goes on for way too long, and you start to lose interest in actually completing it. So far, they've been really well done, really well paced, interesting. They mix it up with cutscenes and action stuff that happens, and then the reward at the end of it invariably is you get to switch to the other character, basically. So, it's been very, very good so far.
Okay, well, I mean, that's going to be on my list to get to at some point, and I'm sure everybody else knows whether they enjoy the Resident Evil series or otherwise, because it's been around a fair few years, isn't it?
It's done all right, hasn't it? Yeah, they've had a few.
Right. It's funny actually, because it did start to wane at one point, didn't it? Before Capcom's little resurgence, it was one of the key games in bringing all of that back.
Yeah, well, I mean, it waned at 6. That was the nadir, I would say.
Did you say peaked at 6?
No, I didn't say peaked.
You didn't.
At 6.
Oh, okay.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Just checking.
I think there was sort of grumblings around 5, I remember, and I really liked 5, and 5 generally was well received, but it felt like at 5 they were kind of going in a direction which was very sort of influenced by the time, which was like, let's just pack this full of action, let's make it really action focused. And I do remember getting to the end of 5 and being like, yeah, I really enjoyed that, but they kind of need to turn it down a bit for the next game. Because you can't keep accelerating like this, and of course then they made RE6, which was peak for some people, I suppose, but not for me. And then they kind of completely brought it back for 7, completely different things. So I'd highly recommend playing it.
Okay. Right. Okay. Let's. What should we talk about next? Have you got any other games you've been playing that you'd like to pipe off on?
I did play. I played and finished Reanimal.
Oh yeah.
As well. Like 2 weeks ago, I played that with my wife, who's not really a horror fan, but I convinced her that it was, co-op game. So how horrific can it be?
Yeah.
And she really enjoyed it as well, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was excellent. It's a great, it reminded me, it's sort of like, like if Playdead, who made Inside, if they made Inside but with just like a massive budget, basically. It's that type of game, but like super high production values. I was really quite surprised how good it looks, and how high the general cinematic quality of everything is. And I wouldn't say like it's fun, like as in it's a very brutal game, so it's like a very interesting experience. But I really enjoyed it actually. And I think they're doing like a big DLC run, which I think happened for Little Nightmares 2 as well, stuff like that. So
Reanimal though. So from what I hear, people have questions. Everyone's got their own idea of value and things, but that game is particularly short. How long did it take you to get through?
About 5 hours.
Okay, not too bad then.
Yeah, no, wow. I don't think it's. I think the game was £20, and it's 5 hours of like really high quality, good paced stuff. So I guess, I mean, it's all like subjective, right? But I would say it's a very like it's good bang for buck. That game, it's very memorable. It's very high production for what it is, and you can play it co-op, and it's good, really good.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be like an hour for me because I'm really good at games, but that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, distracted by cats again. Okay, so let me just correct a little spelling error that I've got on the ticker there. Radders, it'll be fixed. I apologise for spelling your name entirely wrong. It's not actually Spite. That's a little bit behind the times as well. I've got some people I need to add onto the ticker as well. So if you are a member and I've not added you onto that little list, I apologise. Hound me and I'll get it sorted out. But I'm scatterbrained and I forget to look at these things. Painful Discourse, you loved it. You're waiting for the DLC as well. Good.
Right.
Let's move on then to something a little bit different. Let's talk about which one should we go for first? We didn't do a podcast last week, and there was a fair amount of relatively big news going on. So let's do PlayStation first. Right, there's a couple of things going on in PlayStation world. So they shut down Bluepoint. That was a big bit of news a week and a half ago. But since then, we've also had unconfirmed but quite reliable rumours from Jason Schreier that they're having a rethink on their direction and handling of their exclusive games and their bringing of said games to PC. What's going on, Luke?
With both or with the
tackle whichever points you want. So Bluepoint, probably do very briefly the Bluepoint bit, because there's not much you can really say besides that sucks. But say that sucks in your own words.
Yeah, it mega sucks to me. I just think it's really, really crap. I was really, really disappointed. I think studio closures are always kind of make me annoyed, but that one made me actually quite angry because they're so talented and they're not a big in terms of personnel. I mean, it's like 70 to 90 people, somewhere in that range. So it's not a huge studio as is. And they've made so many incredible projects. Obviously, most recently, Demon Souls remake, which is fantastic, phenomenal game. Shadow of the Colossus remake before that as well, which was tremendous, and all sorts of other bits in between. So, I think it doesn't make much sense to me because it's, as I say, it's a studio that's quite small and who are remarkably talented. And, at worst case scenario, they could be assigned to dip into PlayStation's gigantic backlog of classic IP and, big franchises and remake a project. I know we've had more stuff that's come out over the last week or so about kind of the background to where they were after their live service project was cancelled, which again by its nature was a stupid thing to have them be on. But it just seems like a colossal waste to me. It's and it seemed like one of those studios that could just sit there forever and do stuff. Like, it's that nimble and that talented. So I just think it's really, really disappointing, basically, and I'm still fairly pissed off by it.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I mean, there's latest thing I heard was that they had actually successfully to Sony pitched doing the Bloodborne remake that everybody wanted them to do, but From said no, so that couldn't happen. But you know, there's so much that they could have gone on to instead, rather than what has happened.
Just loads of just they could go do an Uncharted remake, right? Like an original, or Uncharted 2, or there just seems to I don't really. I think that's probably one of the more frustrating things is you don't ever find out the exact rationale of what's going on in people's heads when they make these decisions. So on the surface, it just doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah.
And even more so that they've literally just announced a God of War trilogy remake.
Yeah.
And it's like, what could they not just help with that? Like, could they not be put on that? I don't really they did an original God of War remaster. So I don't really get why they couldn't be put to work on that. And it'd be tremendous. I'm sure it'd be great anyway, but why couldn't I just don't understand.
Yeah. Right, with you. Again, we are obviously we are saying this from the outside, and we don't know all of the details in the boardroom and all the rest of it. But yeah, from our perspective, it just sucks. Let's talk about the other part of the Sony thing, the less solid, less definitive, but kind of quite interesting news coming out from various people. So Jason Schreier broke it, but John Lineman and others have kind of added weight to it by saying that they've heard the same. That Sony are reconsidering whether they should release all of their games onto Steam in the way that they have been doing, with lots of talk going around Wolverine and Yotai and games. They're single player games that have been their signature for so many years that perhaps they don't need to be releasing these on PC after all. What do you reckon?
Odd to me. I I again, from the outside looking in, it looks like that push to PC ports has been relatively successful for them. So I'm not really sure why they would pull back from doing that. I mean, obviously, but as in their single player stuff.
Yeah.
Service games, obviously, it makes complete sense. You would always go day and day PC on that. So to give them the best possible chance. But their single player stuff, I don't really get. They've always seemed to be relatively successful with any PC ports they've done. Some more than others for sure, but I don't know what the rationale is, because it seems like they were making money from that process, and I don't know why you would stop that. Obviously, I think the aim is more user attraction to the console, but is that really going to work with like dedicated PC players? I don't think so. So there must be something that they see internally that we don't, to go, yeah, you know what, let's actually pull back on this a little bit, and maybe PC ports will still come, but they will be, much further down the line, as opposed to getting closer, which it seemed like it was going to. So I'm not sure. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, like you say, the rationale for not putting them on PC is like kind of, you can understand it. They want to sell PlayStations, right? The PlayStation 5 generation is kind of established and it's already there, so they don't need to worry about it too much. But they're going to have a PlayStation 6, and they're going to reach a point where people like me will look at a PlayStation 6 and go, well, what's the point? I'll play all of their games on PC. So it's kind of the age-old rationale behind exclusives does still apply, and maybe they're gearing up for that and just trying to make sure that they can establish a console base next time around. I mean, the first thing that occurs to me when they say they're not going to be bringing these things to PC is like, oh, maybe I need a PS5 Pro after all if I want to play Wolverine at its best when it comes out. Yeah. Whereas prior to this coming around, it's like, oh, I'll play it on PC, it'll be brilliant. So like that kind of stuff makes sense. I think a couple of things that might be swaying them are, I don't think Spider-Man 2 did very well on PC. I don't have the numbers, but the initial kind of feedback on it was that it was quite a muted launch for what is a huge and expensive game. I'm not sure how Forbidden West did. I know Stellar Blade, Days Gone, Death Stranding, they've done very well for them as single player games, but some of these other like super high budget ones haven't necessarily been great in terms of numbers, despite being good ports and all the rest of it. Like Spider-Man 2 was a Nix's job, right? So one of their higher end PC ports. I'm not saying like it flopped or anything like that, but perhaps didn't make it feel quite worth their while with the other ones that are coming about. And the other side of it is, we know that they are bitter competitors in the console space, and we know that their games that are released to Steam will work on the next Xbox. So these are all things to consider. Sony have put themselves in a difficult position with their live service push as well. We know that the decisions that they've made previously and their whole strategy has kind of put them on wobbly ground. So they're having a little rethink, a little reassess of all of these details. And I remember conversations like time ago when it was kind of considered that they'd have to follow the kind of Game Pass, games everywhere strategy that Microsoft were doing. And I've always kind of looked at it and thought, well, yeah, they could do that, but it's not the only viable strategy, and it's not even necessarily a viable strategy for Microsoft, right? Things are going on there that we'll talk about in a minute. But they could also look over their shoulder and see what Nintendo are doing as a successful company in this space and go, well, maybe this whole exclusive thing, maybe just cutting our budgets a little bit and selling a whole shitload of Mario is a direction we can afford to go in, more so than Game Pass and PC and all the rest of it, more so than competing dollar for dollar with Microsoft. So I don't know, like, how it's going to play out and what we're going to get, because things like Wolverine, we know that their deals with Marvel, we know from the Insomniac leaks that happened during that whole hacking incident a while ago, have really stringent conditions on how much money, how much revenue they have to make for those games before they get in real trouble with Disney. So maybe those are still coming to PC, maybe they're not, but it just gives you that little air of doubt that makes you think, oh, maybe when that PS5 Pro is a bargain, maybe I'll try and pick one up. Maybe the PlayStation 6 is going to be worth my while. Even just the conversation and the air of doubt around it has some value for them. So actual exclusives have to, don't they? But, so I don't know, like, how it's going to play out and what we're going to get, because things like Wolverine, we know that their deals with Marvel, we know from the Insomniac leaks that happened during that whole hacking incident a while ago, have really stringent conditions on how much money, how much revenue they have to make for those games before they get in real trouble with Disney. So maybe those are still coming to PC, maybe they're not, but it just gives you that little air of doubt that makes you think, oh, maybe when that PS5 Pro is a
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, possibly. Yeah, it's an interesting, as you say, perhaps it's to shore things up ahead of next gen when they'll want to convince people again to go and dip into what is an increasingly expensive market to go into and buy their platform. No doubt it will be more expensive than what the PlayStation 5 launched for. Um, so it could be something along those lines. I'm less convinced by the Xbox One because I just don't think they find like they're not. Neither of them are really competing with each other anymore. So it would take a bit of a weird view on things for Sony to go. Actually, we're gonna get ahead of this before their thing, their hybrid comes out, because technically people can play our games there. I don't think they're really swimming in the same market anymore. And surely I don't know why Sony would mind that, because they would still get a sale out of it without having to do any additional work really for an quote unquote Xbox port. So it's interesting. It's I think we'll only, maybe we'll find out a bit more in the next year or so as they start to really ramp up movement towards next gen. But interesting.
Just like in terms of next gen, though, like you say, they're not necessarily competing with Microsoft. And in terms of the console space, maybe they're not competing in terms of hardware, but in terms of holding a platform, holding an ecosystem, is the it is the real contest between all of these companies, because Steam obviously have a massive hold over the PC space, but it's not that Valve are making loads of games. They're getting all that third-party money, and that's the thing that's been at risk for Sony of late, or for anyone that's in this space. If they take this multi-platform approach, yes, their games will sell more, but they cannot afford to lose like Fortnite revenue or whatever the next Fortnite is. Like they cannot be the platform. They can't afford to not be the platform, as it were, that the next big game is played on and bought on, whether they make it or not. And that's kind of what what having a console does for them, what having exclusives does for them. And it's not necessarily going to work. It wouldn't, like I've got loads of exclusives, and I wouldn't buy a third-party game for a Nintendo console pretty much ever. If it was available elsewhere, I'll play it elsewhere. But it's a difficult space for them to navigate to make sure that they are the place that you want to play games. Their games are only one part of that little picture, and you can understand why. You can see both sides of an argument on whether they should or should not have exclusives, and how the numbers fall and how the penny drops is something we'll all find out together. Pokemon, we'll do a little detour. We'll go on to the Xbox stuff afterwards. You said you've got loads to say about Pokemon. There was a special Pokemon 30th anniversary showcase of some kind. They revealed some things. There's a new generation coming next year. There's various Pokemons doing poker things with Pokeballs and I don't know Pokemon. I don't play it. I played Scarlet when I got a Switch 2, and I didn't enjoy it very much, and that was enough Pokemon for me. So, Luke, you again. What's going on with Pokemon?
Lots, but I actually don't know. Beyond the new Wind and Waves, I don't know what's going on with Pokemon. As in, I don't know what else they showed at that showcase because I didn't watch it. But yeah, because I meant to watch it, and then I got completely sidetracked by something, and then I was like, "Oh shit, I've missed it. What happened?" And then all I saw was Winds and Waves from it. So I mean, they're doing new stuff, new generation Winds and Waves, exclusive to Switch 2, and coming out next year, which is interesting. Like they're actually taking their time on it. So I think that can only be a good thing to me, because I think the schedule, people do lambast Game Freak a lot, and I think there's some legitimate criticism that can attach to that. But equally, they are mandated effectively to make a Pokemon game in a year. And they are not like a gigantic studio like, say, the network of Call of Duty studios are, where they can actually conceivably push that out in sort of, I mean, they don't make Call of Duties in a year. They make it in like 2 to 3 using all their kind of internal studios, and one has a central role in that. But so I do think sometimes Game Freak gets a lot of unnecessary or perhaps misguided criticism for what their games look like and all that stuff. But I do agree with the sentiment that this is a franchise that makes so much money that you would think that they could put somewhat more effort, or have, a proportionally bigger amount of people working on this, and at least with this one, like, I'm not saying this looks cutting edge or anything like that. There's already better looking games on the Switch too, but it does look like they've made a bit of an effort, and like it does look kind of like all right visually. Like it looks, it's like there's a leap in visuals compared to certainly X and Y. Not X and Y. What was the last? What was the?
Scarlet's the one that I got, but I don't know if that's the most recent one.
The
spin-off one.
ZA. Is it ZA? I think it's ZA. The last one that came out. So, which I have as well, and I've not actually played it yet. It looked cool. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I think it would be nice that they will actually finally, kind of vamp it up. I will see what the gameplay is like. Because the mainline ones tend to like all lean and trigger closer to the traditional Pokemon formula, whereas obviously Arceus and ZA and all of that sort of stuff are kind of Pokemon for adults almost in terms of their gameplay, or at least that's kind of the focus, is like a more interesting gameplay systems for people who have grown up with Pokemon and now want something a bit more engaging. But this one looks nice. I am really looking forward to Procopia though, which I think comes out next month. Because that looks like it will be. Yeah, surely. I think people have had hands on with that recently as well and been very positive about it. So I'm very much looking forward to that, because that's just weird, and I really like weird games. So, but yeah, there's Pokemons. Are you going to get any of the Pokemons? Are you going to get them?
So, I didn't like Scarlet, all right? I played it a little bit.
Yeah, Scarlet one's very good.
I've been told that, actually, that I played the wrong one. I put only like 3 or 4 hours into it, but I didn't enjoy it very much. The new one is a hard sell for me, but maybe. This Procopia one, whatever it's called, I need to have a look at, because I don't know anything about it. Don't know what it is. I know it's Ditto and some farming and blah, 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 but I don't know a lot about it. So maybe. I do want to use my Switch 2 more. I've got the damn console and I don't use it for very much. Been playing Fire Emblem this week on it. Very underwhelming.
What a salesperson for the Switch 2.
Yeah, well, no, I'm playing the GameCube one, the Path of Radiance one.
Path of Radiance, okay. Yeah. All right, fine.
I've played Three Houses before. On the
original
Switch.
The Switch 2 one.
What's the Switch 2 one?
I can't remember what it's called. It comes out this year, doesn't it?
I don't know. I would have seen it at the time, and
it's like kind of ties in with Three Houses a bit. Fortunes something.
Maybe.
What is it? Fortune's Weave. Yeah, there we go. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave.
I would really like to be excited about it. I've been really for quite a long time. I've thought that Fire Emblem was probably my favorite Nintendo game, despite having never played it. Just because I like tactics RPGs and it should be right up my street. So I'm like, yes, I'm going to like Fire Emblem when I finally get around to playing it. And I played Three Houses. Played it all the way through. It's quite good, but it's only quite good. It's not one of the best tactics games or anything like that. I don't like the whole school setting on it, so I was like, maybe the older ones that have a slightly more gritty setting will suit me more, because I don't like high school as a setting for a game. So I went back and tried Path of Radiance. I'm still quite early into it, but it feels quite like baby's first tactics game, like really overly simplistic.
Sure.
And I don't know if it's going to develop any further than that as I go through it. So that dampens my excitement for future Fire Emblem games, just because the ones that I played that are supposed to be, they've got a good reputation going for them. They're supposed to be the good Fire Emblem games. I haven't really done it for me in the way that I hoped that they would, in the way that I kind of expected that they would. So yeah, I don't like Mario. Maybe Zelda will be good when I get around to playing some of them. I don't know. Anyway,
you not played any new Zeldas?
I have walked down the out of the cave and down the hill in Breath of the Wild.
On Breath of the Wild.
Got some fire and knocked down an apple and set fire to some stuff and gone, hang about. This might actually be quite fun. Okay. But I didn't pick it up from there. So that's on my to-do list. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. I played old Super Nintendo Zeldas and stuff like that, like a long time ago.
Yeah,
but I haven't done anything more recent, so maybe. The other one that I always thought would so it was Fire Emblem and Metroid. I thought Metroid, that's aesthetically likely to be a pleasing game, but I don't like Metroidvanias, and Metroid is kind of going to be all about that because it's a Metroid game. And then the most recent release of that was supposed to be somewhat disappointing, or didn't kind of make the kind of waves that would entice me to go and buy it. So it's still on my to-do list as well. Got lots of things on my to-do list. And what do you mean echoes? What's happening? Who's echoing? Are we echoing? I don't know. You're not going to know. I have to explain. I don't know what that means otherwise. If I'm having technical difficulties, then I apologise. Yeah, what else are we talking about? Right, let's go on then. So you've got the Pokemon stuff. You love it. You're going to get it. I will take some convincing, but actually not that much. I'm very susceptible to buying wanting things, not to buying things. But
just have to manufacture FOMO for it. And then
I'm actually really quite good at being immune to the FOMO. Hence, I haven't tried Marathon. I haven't tried Resident Evil and all of these kind of things. I live in my own little bubble and can avoid most of that. Unfortunately, I've kind of deleted all of the various social media apps away from me, so I don't even look to know what FOMO I'm supposed to be feeling. Which is why I rely on you to fill me in on everything that's going on in the games industry, including what's happening at Xbox. Because prior to last weekend, there was the massive shockwave of news that Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond were out at Microsoft. Asher something or other, the AI executive, has taken over, and this week we've had a little bit of time to kind of digest the news. They've done a fair few little bits and pieces of interviews, and they're clearly manufacturing a story around what has and hasn't happened as well, in terms of it's all Sarah Bond's fault. Pin it all on her. She's got a now kind of narrative that they've been spinning through. Where are you with it? What are you thinking is going on Xbox? Do you think we're going to see any changes in their strategy of note? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be much change short term, medium term. I don't think I think it's too big a ship to steer, to do that quickly. So I think it will kind of remain mostly as is for now. In the future, who knows? Because it is completely fresh leadership, apart from Matt Booty, effectively, right? So yeah, I think the timing of it was very interesting in terms of being announced on a Friday and then Phil was out on a Monday, even though obviously they said that Phil's retirement was planned like last year. But the thing that makes me think it was more rushed is actually Sarah Bond's stuff. The fact that she was out so quickly. So that's more telling to me than any of the other stuff. So I don't really get what has happened there, I would say. I think that like Phil probably did retire, as in like this was planned, but the interplay between that and Asha Sharma and Sarah Bond and all that stuff is very confusing to me. Like it doesn't look right. In like the sniff test, it doesn't quite not quite right. So, and particularly the way that she was exited and how quickly that was. And then obviously these stories that have come out afterwards, which do feel very scapegoaty about the directionality of Xbox and stuff like that. So, I'm like, I think there's like a swathe of feeling you can have towards this. And I think people often land on either side of it. But for me, I'm just like, well, we're not going to know if this is good or bad for a while. So I don't think there's any point being super optimistic, and nor is there any point, being doom and gloom. You can just obtain it like a healthy middle in all of this and just be like, okay, well, let's see how we go. At least short term, and I mean short term by the next like year or so. They've got a lot of really good games that are coming. Like, on paper, anyway. They could be shit when they land, but probably not. But like, there's really good stuff coming from Xbox. So let's just wait and see. But yeah, I thought the messaging around it and the timing and all that kind of interplay between that stuff was just very strange. And it just smacked of something that was, in the end, seemed quite rushed relative to the narrative that they've been bringing out, that this is all quite planned quite significantly. So, Yeah, it's an interesting one.
So I'm more doom and gloom. I think it's
Good.
the end of all things,
Good.
you know. Like
Good.
what concerns me is just for the longest time, I would say I've had no trust in Microsoft because they are the most corporate of giant corporations, and not really my gaming friends, right? And I've always had some sort of external impression that the likes of Phil Spencer, and I'll say Sarah Bond, but I'll loop back to it in a second, but that these people did kind of understand where we come from as an audience as well, as like fans of gaming and all the rest of it. They did actually understand what is good about it, and they did push for what we would want, essentially, against a Microsoft that doesn't understand that at all, and a Microsoft that has a very corporate vision. And I'm not sure that pushback is going to exist within the organization anymore. And they have a hell of a lot of talent, a hell of a lot of development studios and things that I want to be able to go and be creative and make things that they want to. They were kind of doing they were doing good things, like just the existence of games like Hellblade 2 and South of Midnight. I love that about what they were doing. That was the positive light of them owning all of these studios and owning so much of the industry, is that they were allowing them to do things. And I'm not saying they're definitely going to change direction on that and stop them, but I'm not sure. Like, it's a possibility, and I don't like that it's a possibility, you know? I don't like that there isn't necessarily pushback. And I said I'll look back on Sarah Bond understanding gaming and things, and this isn't a dig at her, it's an observation from the stories that have come out. One of the things that was said is that she was never actually a gamer, and it was her social media team and profile that Microsoft had built for her. It was all a big charade or whatever. But the thing that kind of makes that believable is that there was also talk about how she was gone so quickly that her social media team didn't know, and was still so she was still posting on LinkedIn and things despite not actually being there anymore, really, essentially, which just gives you a little insight into how sincere and genuine these social media interactions are. So why are people falling for it again? Why is there so much social media interaction with Asha when you know full well that it's not? It's a bloody social media team crafting a persona.
Yeah, and you could see that. I mean, like the big one, like the most obvious one, is when like her first statement, where she specifically, you know, like rebuts AI slop, you know, and she's like, no, like games are art and blah blah blah, and it's like, well, like these people are not like stupid, like media teams, like they know that the sentiment that when an AI executive comes in to a gaming company is going to be, well, she's going to introduce like lots of AI and we're going to get really crap stuff from it. So we need to rebut that presumption like straight away in the messaging. Like, so it's very carefully crafted. And I agree that people are like, you know, I've seen a lot of people be like skeptic. She came in, they were skeptical, and then she's done like a couple of interviews and suddenly it's like, oh, it's going to be fine. You know, it's going to be great, you know, because she said, like, look at what she said, and it's like, means nothing.
She said she loves brute force.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I'd be on board if she said that. Like, I might do that thing that people have been doing where they've been messaging her and be like, look, come on. The best thing you can do for the community is make a brute force sequel. So, and I'm not saying like don't give like her a chance and new leadership and all of that. Like, because people should, like, we just need to see how it goes. But I think it's good to maintain like a healthy degree of skepticism with this stuff, because ultimately that, you know, that whole division is it, you know, for the last 5 or 6 years, maybe even longer, it's been this like constant shift of strategy and scope, and like, we'll do this and then we won't do that, and now we'll move on to this, and it's been very whiplashy. So if, you know, the tea leaves read that actually this, whatever the strategy is going forward, isn't working, then it will change, and that may impact everything that we get and what they produce and stuff like that. So, you know, let's just wait and see. But I do, the kind of parasocial element that people have is just weird. Like, it's just super weird to me.
Yeah. So in a
apart
world
from me
of
and Jim Ryan, who were best friends.
I was going to say, in a world of Dom Matrix and Jim Ryan, is it reasonable for people to be skeptical that someone in a position of authority doesn't actually play games particularly.
I don't know. It's weird that it even matters to some people. I don't think it should matter at all. Because look, like, and I'm not saying like it's not perhaps germane or relevant to like that role to be interested in gaming, right? Because abstracting it and just reading it like as just a product line is perhaps maybe the wrong thing. But there's, there are plenty of gaming CEOs that aren't gamers, and there always have been. I mean, some of the best Xbox gaming CEOs there've ever been, or like some of the, you look at like Peter Moore, many of the kind of nostalgic big Xbox stuff that people really love came under Peter Moore. Peter Moore's not a gamer at all. He never was. Came from Reebok.
But he's got a tattoo.
But he's got a tattoo. Yeah, so he's got like a tattoo. So maybe she needs to do that, like another GTA tattoo. So, and like you look at like look how well generally Take-Two do, right? And it's like some of the products that they put out. Strauss Zelnick doesn't give a fuck about playing games. But he's, very good at managing a gaming company. And so, I mean, Sean Layden was a bit like a gamer, for example, but he wasn't like a massive one. He wasn't like a Phil. Like nothing struck me as like a Phil. So, and look how successful PlayStation were under Sean Layden. So I don't think there's any relevance, and I don't see why it became such a talking point about do they play games? Well, do like film execs make films? No, like they don't. Like, do they watch them? Well, yes, but they're not necessarily massive fans day to day. So, it's just not really that relevant. Let's just see what they put out there. And she's got like clearly people who know this industry very well and like probably are more engaged with it, like Matt Booty, right? And I know people have criticism of him, but clearly he's more in the weeds of it, so he should be the one guiding her through that. But it is a little bit weird, maybe, that I guess that they brought someone in who's so different to Phil. Like they went from someone super into games, super passionate about the craft, to someone who just, doesn't like, has actively said in the first couple of days she's learning.
Yeah.
Like she's learning this world. So that's very interesting. It suggests that they wanted someone in that just had a completely fresh perspective on it, not someone there who, like Phil, has been there for 38 years, right? So, will it work out? I don't know, but let's see.
Yeah,
Give me Brute Force 2.
Like, people are still looking at like what Sony are doing and blaming Jim Ryan for it, like years after he's gone, and that's kind of the reality of it, though, because games take so many years to make. So what's been greenlit and what's been funded is not going to shift too soon. There's always the possibility that they'll come out with some strategic shift that we do see soon, or like this is changing about Game Pass, or this is changing about our strategy. But in terms of the most important thing, the games that we end up getting to play, we're not going to feel that for quite a number of years, are we? Really?
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll like next few years are pretty much going to be locked in. As you say, there are things they could do, I guess, to change. Like there would be big Game Pass is one of them, right? Like they could put changes through to Game Pass in a relatively quick fashion that would be good, not good. Like are on the not good side. It depends on what they look at. Hardware is not one in the short to medium term, but longer term, it could be a place that they look at. Certainly not, I don't think, for the gen coming. Obviously, I think they're pretty committed
back out of their
that.
contracts, can they?
So they're not going to back out of that stuff. But they beyond that, don't know. So yeah, we're not gonna see much of this stuff for the short term to medium term. But again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I'm fairly happy with the status quo of Xbox at the minute, at least in terms of their gaming content. So if they can keep that going, then that's good.
Yep, can't argue either. Right. What else have we got? What else is going on that we've missed?
I don't know. I did see the Digital Foundry did I don't know if you saw this, they did a Crimson Desert tech focus video.
I know. So I've seen via our Discord server that the rain is really good. So I told you I'm easily enticed by things.
Excellent rain. It's superb rain. It's very good. It's all like lit rain as well. So if it's like it's like proper particle, but it's brilliant. But that continues to look at least in terms of worlds and visuals and stuff, very, very cool. Very cool.
That's March 19th.
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
You've already done Death Stranding too, haven't you? You do it on the PlayStation, so you can jump straight into.
Yeah, so I'll be straight into. I don't have an eradication level problem where I've got two potential. Well, one superb game and one unknown, but looks very good game launching on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
I feel for him on that. Well, it's a good problem to have, I think, more than anything. But I'll be diving straight into that, I think.
Okay, fair enough. I think then, if we have rattled through the various topics and things, you've been very informative. I'm now up to speed. I know what's going on in the gaming industry.
Yeah.
I'm a second-hand expert. So let's move on to our questions then, if we've got any of those in. For those that don't know, if you're here watching now, you can just stick questions in the YouTube box. We are only on YouTube at the moment, so it should all be nice and consolidated. First question, Isla, if you were a gym leader, which type would you specialize in? This is a Pokemon question, so you've got to answer it, Luke.
Probably fire. Yeah, probably fire. Always a big fan of fire Pokemon.
Okay.
Although actually, if you were a smart gym leader, you would actually focus in nothing at all. You would adopt all of them to keep everyone guessing. Because what's gonna if some trainer comes up with only water Pokemon, well, you're effed, aren't you? Like, you're gonna lose. So you need to keep it.
If you play
keep it smart.
I wouldn't lose.
Well, yeah. Well, you wouldn't lose.
No, I'd manage. I don't really know. I don't know any of them. I only know grass, fire, and wind and water. Maybe there's fighting types, right? No.
Oh yeah, fighting. Yeah, that'd be you. Fighting types. Yeah.
Are they good?
Yeah. Are they? Yeah, they can be. Yeah.
And actually, so the fighting type ones normally have a secondary element as well, right? So if I do that, I've basically done what you said. I've been the all-rounder. I've got fire and fighting and fire and grass and fire and electricity. Yeah, I keep saying fire. I mean fighter. I'd be the best one. Yeah.
Yeah, you seem like a Machamp or Primeape sort of person. I reckon you'd be good with that.
That's kind of you to say so. I don't know what it means, so I'm just going to go with kind. Thank you very much.
Big, burly fighting Pokemon. That's what you'd be good at.
Okay. I might play one of them at some point that's not Scarlet, if Scarlet's supposed to suck. I mean, he's asked the question that we don't ask anymore. I mean, it makes me sad. This question is what's not to like. It makes me sad. Because Tom's not asking it. Luke, what's not to like?
I don't have anything in particular I can think of at the minute beyond the usual suspects of like stupid online gaming discourse. Like really abject, horrible stuff. That's it, but nothing more specific than that at the moment.
Okay. I mean, I'm not sure. I've answered. That's fine. We don't need to continue the legacy of Tom's question until Tom comes back. One day, Tom will be back. He'll ask that question. We'll celebrate and say there is nothing not to like anymore. Tom, welcome back. But today is not that day. So let's do the next question, please. People are like, I don't know if they're being nice or horrible. I don't know what a Hitmonlee is, but I'll be one of them. Sure. Next question is already here. It's long, so it's going to be episode 13. Yes, it is. It's long as we get a new Xbox, I'm happy. Thoughts on Matt Booty? He's no feel. That does worry me a bit. Do you think Xbox could just go with some simple win? Wait. Do you think Xbox could just go with some simple wins? UI Blade 360 style, multiplayer paywall removed. The question mark is missing, so I'm not sure which part of this question is the question, but Luke, break it down, take whatever bit you want.
always put it on me. It's disgraceful.
Put everything on you. I told you at the outset of the show, this is the one where I'm just ignorant and I sit here and Luke educates me and everybody else.
Yeah, Matt Booty, I think he's fine. I don't really have like super kind of views either way on him, but like clearly very knowledgeable. And he seems to generally be turning their studios around in terms of like consistent good content. So I think that's good. Xbox could go with simple wins, but they don't tend to. So, like most gaming publishers or like platform holders. I know people talk about the blades a lot, but they're not going to bring the 360 blades back because we already know what the interface is broadly going to look like for next gen.
Windows 12.
Which is Windows 12 Copilot, basically. So, which is a full screen experience, which at the moment is complete shit. So, obviously, it will be much better by the time it launches, but it's not very good at the moment. And then multiplayer paywall, I guess. That I would think that would have to drop off next gen, wouldn't it?
With the PC side of things, it doesn't make a lot of sense on their console, does it?
Yeah.
But it's not made a lot of sense for a lot of years. Like there's been ample opportunities to drop this paywall and to really put a significant squeeze on their opposition as well. If they did,
it'd be a very good move actually if they could do it. Yeah,
they keep maintaining it, but it won't. Like, if you've got access to a Steam version of a game and an Xbox version of a game, and you have to subscribe if you want to play the Xbox version, then suddenly it looks a little bit. It already looks a bit weird, to be fair.
Yeah.
You get exactly the same service, servers, access, and all the rest of it, just by playing the game on the PC instead of the Xbox. So it's high time that went away. But who sticks money in the bin, which is what they'd essentially have to do. So I don't know when they'll actually get that change made.
Easy, quick win, Brute Force 2.
Would you take a Brute Force remake? Or do you need a sequel?
Every day. Every day. No, I take a Brute Force remake. Oh, love it. Get higher Blue Point, get them on it.
Yeah, that's cruel. But yeah, why not cruel? It would be very fair. Get the people, rename them. Red Point Studios, do it.
Yeah.
Green Point, I suppose, would make more sense for the Xbox side of it. The Matt Booty thing's interesting, actually, because nobody knows if he's good, bad, or indifferent, because he doesn't have that social media presence. He just gets on with his job in the background in the way that probably more of the execs should. But it's strange that he doesn't get the same kind of persona build up as the other ones. Maybe we're going to start seeing more of Matt Booty now that things have shifted and he's got his new role.
Yeah, he might become a bit more of a public face for Xbox, I guess, because I don't know. I guess we'll see what Asha Sharma's management style is. You know, I think Phil really liked to get in front of people and stuff, and that was that. You know, he enjoyed that. So she might be completely different. There might be Matt Booty doing that stuff.
Right. Johnny has asked, when are we getting Luke into League? He's talking League of Legends. Has he been haranguing you, trying to get you into League of Legends?
He hasn't, and this is the first I've heard of it, but I'm gonna have to let him down very gently, because I will not be getting into League. I don't have the willpower to do a MOBA.
I'm trying to understand the we that he's referring to. Like, it's got to be a royal we.
Yeah, I know, because it's not you. So
no,
maybe Johnny is like one collective entity. So you know, it's
just the only way to
hive mind.
League.
So but maybe if League introduces non-MOBA stuff, it completely changes. It's something that isn't a MOBA.
I want to play a MOBA, but they're so hostile. Like the on-ramp into those games is nasty.
They're just like very they're very overwhelming, I think, in a new player experience.
Yeah.
And I've already got an overwhelming thing that's not a MOBA, but kind of has MOBA-ish elements to some extent in that it's complicated, which is Overwatch. So that's enough for me.
Yeah, so not soon from the sounds of things, Johnny, but believe in yourself.
You keep plugging away, though.
Anything. Have a go. Yeah, this is just the start of the process. So we shall see. Next one is gone. There aren't any more. That is all of the questions, which is a nice tidy. Wait, it's not. I mean, it's just snuck in there with. Oh, that's a good question, actually.
Oh, that is a good question.
Have you played any Steam Next Fest demos, and have you got any
I
highlights?
played loads.
Have you?
I played loads. Yeah.
Apparently, there are something like 3,400 games in Steam Next Fest.
I played all of them.
Have you?
I've done everyone. Yeah.
Every single one of them. Give me some highlights.
The best one that I played, which I spoke about on the Discord, was the Eternal Life of Goldman, which is incredible, absolutely incredible. Which is like a 2D Metroidvania, but heavily focused around the platforming bit. So probably your worst nightmare in a game. It doesn't have any stealth though. So
no, I was going to say I like 2D platforming. It's 3D platforming I don't like.
Yeah, but you don't like Metroidvanias, do you? That's all.
I don't have this distaste in the way that I do for stealth, but it's not like, and it's not a point of appeal either.
Yeah. Well, this one is more, it's more platformer heavy than Metroidvania heavy. Like, it has Metroidvania elements, but at least from the bit that, and the demo is really sizable, by the way. It's like a couple of hours long. But it is probably one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. It's everything is hand drawn, like hand animated stuff, so very classic cartoon stuff, like Cuphead on crack, basically. Like it's so incredible to see it in motion, and it has so much personality, and it's just a lot of fun and interesting, and it has this really weird, dark, not weird, but very dark meta story going on around it, which I didn't expect at all. You know, despite the fact that its appearance is outwardly very whimsical and cartoony. So that one is, I really can't wait for that one. What else have I played? I played Armitus, which is the devs that made Godfall. People remember that from the beginning of the gen.
I remember Godfall.
Yeah, so it's their new game, and it's basically a Returnal, like, I would say, set in like a demonic.
I remember the trailer for it. Yeah,
Paris. Yeah, so I think it's coming to Game Pass as well. That's very fun. It's maybe not as interesting run to run as Returnal is, but it's certainly engaging. So played that. I played one. I'm not sure if you'd like this. I don't know, but it feels like it's you're a Dreamcast guy, and there's a game called Dench Attack. I don't know if you've seen
the train on rails thing.
Yeah. I played the demo of that. It's very fun. Very fun. So you can be a train. You can do tricks. What's not to like?
Yeah, I mean,
about that.
Yeah, it's inspiring for me, because I'm thinking, hang about, if I make my player character a train in my game, I don't have to animate shit. This is just be a train.
Exactly, yeah. There you go.
Which I'm not going to do, but maybe I will when I come to animating things and go, well, this is too difficult. You're a train now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got that obviously Jet Set Radio kind of crazy taxi energy going on, hasn't it? So I see why people liken it to the era of the Dreamcast.
Yeah. So there's those. There was another. Well, there's been quite a few, so I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. Gunboat God. That's a really fun game. It's kind of like a side-scrolling arcade shooter into stages, but it's got like tons of personality, very weird art style, and you are basically a man on a boat shooting things that fly above you. It sounds kind of shit when I describe it like that, but if you actually download the demo and look at the art and like play it, you'll see it's very fun. So that was cool. Oh man, it's been a really, obviously I played the Replace demo, which came out just before Steam Next Fest, which is very good, predictably. I played the Scott Pilgrim EX demo, that was good. There's a lot out there. Okay. I think most of these may be still around, possibly, so you can enjoy them.
There you go. Go have a look if you've got Steam and you're looking for some demos. There's some recommendations. I can give you no recommendations at all because I haven't touched any of them. For me, I look at it from the other perspective of like how, when I get anywhere with the game that I'm making, how am I going to get anyone to play it when there's 3,400 demos available in Next Fest? It's a tricky situation for a little developer. that I'm not having to navigate just yet. But one of these days. Craig, Skill and Panache, has said, talk me out of regretting buying a PC now that exclusives are coming back. So with Sony talking about not releasing, well, not talking about it, they've not said a word, but with rumours around that Sony aren't going to release all of their games onto PC, Microsoft saying that they're going for a console-first approach, whether true or not, we'll see. This notion that maybe console exclusives are a thing again. Should Craig regret buying a wonderful PC to play Super Battle Golf with us? I think I've just answered the question right there, by the way, Craig. But
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Clearly, the answer is yes. He should regret that.
You should regret it. Super Battle Golf was fun for a bit.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. No, I don't think there's any need to regret it. I mean, the only thing you'd be missing out on is PlayStation Day One games. I really love PlayStation Day One games, but it's like one thing out of everything, right? So, and then you can always, when the PlayStation 5s come down in price in 7,000 years, whenever RAM starts being affordable and stuff, then you can buy one of them and you can just play the exclusive games. So, and I'm sure they will still come. I'd be surprised if they didn't come to PC at all now. It's just maybe they'll be a lot longer.
Yeah, I mean, when we mentioned Spider-Man 2 earlier, I did see Painful Discourse there saying that it was a terrible port as well, which is also like fuel for not putting in the effort, right? If it's difficult even for Nixus to bring these games across.
Yeah. And then if it doesn't sell that well, it's well, I guess what's the juice worth the squeeze, as people like to say.
Indeed. Next one, late question. Wait, I've done this one already. This is Replicant, favourite Steam Next Fest demo. I think that question came through twice, or I've just read this literally the same question twice. I can't remember. But Luke has just talked about his favourite demos, and I have not gone to any. People that are here, obviously, say what you've played as well. That's fine. I didn't steal anything either. I didn't steal anything. I haven't pressed anything. I don't dare move my mouse because when I do, the cat savage the wire. Amin has said, community games after this podcast, ? Do you know what? I mean, that's supposed to be a thing. That's supposed to be a thing that want to happen. So we do a little podcast and then people that want to jump on and play some nice, relaxed games. And it will be a thing. So today, I've not eaten my dinner yet. So I'm going to have a little break after the podcast. I'm going to go and eat some food. But then if people are around wanting to play some Super Battle Golf, then probably not going to stream it, probably do it just on Discord, but we can jump on and play a bit of that. So if you are there, just make a little noise in Discord. If you are on the fence and thinking, I don't know, Super Battle Golf is worth the £5 or whatever it costs, it is good fun. We played it last week for Community Games and had a good laugh. So recommend jumping in and playing with us. So yes, I mean, hopefully Community Games in like 20 minutes time. Johnny has asked, what's your favourite? It's going to be Resident Evil, but I'm trying to think of something funny to substitute, and I've failed. I've failed miserably. Luke, what's your favourite Resident Evil game?
It's very difficult. This probably surprise people, but I have a massive soft spot for the original Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. So, which isn't by any stretch the best RE game, but I just absolutely love that one. I think big part's nostalgia. Apart from that, RE2 original and remake, both way up there. RE4 remake and RE4 way up there. I actually think RE4 remake's better than the original. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. Code Veronica is really good as well. Really good. Apparently they're remaking that next year, which will be awesome. So yeah, I if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Nemesis, which would probably be surprising to people, but I loved it.
What do you reckon mine is?
Could be anything, or it's just going to end in some punchline. This, so if I'm going to take it, I don't even know.
It could end in a punchline.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not. I'd actually say. Because I've got big gaps in my Resident Evil.
It's not 6, is it?
No, it's not 6 and it's not 5.
Yeah.
I've got some big holes in my library because I've not played either version of 4, and 4 is a lot of people's favorite. So,
yeah.
Acknowledging that I'm probably missing one of the best ones here. My favorite at the moment is probably Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Being like the first of the kind of reboot was like, oh, fucking hell, they did this well. So I enjoyed that a lot.
There was a lot of skepticism around that as well, as to, because you're effectively making a new game, and how do you capture like the original of the like the amazing stuff that the original did, but they just amazing.
Yeah, so that's my answer for that one. Are there any more, or have we got through the new cycle of questions? I think we've probably, I can't see, but I think we've probably got through them. Or if I could see, I'd get in trouble for acknowledging that I can see. No, that is all of them. It is done. So let's move on to me having dinner. That's what's going to happen next, and then we'll kind of poke my head up on Discord and see if we can get some Super Battle Golf going. Even if there's only a small number of us, we can just jump into some public lobbies and savage stuff. If you haven't played it, by the way, Super Battle Golf is literally, it's like a $5. You can have anything from like 4 to 16 odd players, and it's a golf race. With some fairly simplified golf mechanics. You whack the ball and you get to the hole before everybody else, but you do it in the midst of rocket fire and landmines and all these kind of like Mario Kart style equipables. You can run up and hit people with a golf club. I think it's probably like fairly directly lifted from the Nintendo Mario Golf Rush game. But it's £5, not 70, so it works for me. And we'll be playing that again in a minute because it is a good laugh. That, though, is the end of today's podcast. So, Luke, thank you for educating me on all things gaming over the last couple of weeks and prior. Say to people whatever you want to say to people.
If you can find a copy of Brute Force, send it my way. And other than that, see you soon.
Yeah, fair enough. So, play it before you send it to him, because then you can engage in conversations with him about how much you do.
Yeah, I have no one to talk to about Brute Force. I'd even take people who play Brute Force and don't like it. Nobody seems to remember this game, so yeah.
And thank you everyone for coming through. I know it's sporadic, but it will be either next week or the following. We will be back with more podcasts. I'll keep you all updated as we go. And for now, that is it. So see you on Discord, see you on YouTube, see you everywhere else. Have a good night and goodbye.
Bye-bye.